In 1964, President Johnson rallied the troops for the war on poverty. In some quarters, it proved extremely successful. In others, about 10 cents of every dollar spent actually reached somebody poor. The war was fought, but some say not long and hard enough. Tenements continued to turn into slums. Urban blight continued to deface our cities. And the welfare generation tragically reproduced itself. Yet there were proud victories. Poverty for black men was reduced by 8%. Poverty for the elderly was cut by 5%. Medicaid, which President Truman tried to pass 20 years earlier, finally went into effect. The food stamp program was enacted. Today, 1 out of every 10 Americans, half of them under 18, lives by this program. Aid to families with dependent children expanded to become the nation's largest welfare program. Mostly it helps households headed by women. However, in the last decade, inflation has caused purchasing power of these benefits to plummet nearly 30%. Medicaid, food stamps, aid to families with dependent children, hailed along bipartisan lines as the most successful programs since the New Deal, hailed until now.
Starting in fiscal 1984, the federal government will assume full responsibility for the cost of the rapidly growing Medicaid program to go along with its existing responsibility for Medicare. As part of a financially equal swap, the states will simultaneously take full responsibility for aid to families with dependent children and food stamps.
If the states are forced to assume responsibility for food stamps and AFDC, it will cost them nearly $43 billion. Many critics see this as spelling disaster, either for the programs or for states already on the financial edge.
It's time somebody said it. Mr. Reagan's policies aren't just mistaken, they're wicked.
In the last year, 2 million new faces joined the poverty rolls. It's been 50 years since those Hoovervilles. Now what faces the poor?
Reaganomics has meant massive cutbacks for the poor. $40 billion has already been sliced out of the budget for social programs, $2 billion has been taken away from food stamps, and 660,000 families are expected to lose all or some of their AFDC benefits by the end of the year. The question is now being asked, has the war on poverty turned into a war against the poor?
My name is LaJean Chaplin. I am a single mother on welfare, trying to raise 3 children and succeed at life at the same time. It's not easy at all. And nobody can truly understand exactly what I'm going through unless they've been through it themselves.
Like most of us, LaJean Chaplin still believes in the American dream. A decent place to live, a good job, putting her kids through school. For a while, though only for a few short months, she thought she was on her way to realizing that dream. She had been on welfare ever since her husband abandoned her and her 3 children 2 years ago. But last November, LaJean landed her first job. Though she continued to receive welfare payments, she was determined to work her way off the public dole.
I worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield, writing up letters, sending them out to discrepancies, sending them out to people for something they forgot to do on their claims. It was, it was very nice. I liked the people I met.
LaJean's new job, though full-time, brought her less than $500 a month take-home pay. $300 of that went to pay for the daycare center that took care of her children while she was at work. That left her $200 a month to live on, plus her welfare payments of $444 a month. She managed to make ends meet, although the family still lived below the poverty line. But when Reaganomics cut the welfare budget last October 1st, LaJean's precarious grip on financial solvency was lost. Because of her new job, her welfare benefits were cut more than $350 a month.
I really didn't realize how drastically they were going to cut my check and how it would affect me financially. I really only had enough money for rent and not food or anything else. It was a decision that I had to make, whether to keep a roof over my head or to starve to death.
600,000 working families with more than 1 million children lost some or all of their benefits when Reaganomics changed the welfare rules. For LaShawn Chaplin, the cut meant that after daycare costs, she was taking home $150 less each month than if she were caring for her children alone and living totally on welfare. She struggled to make it for 4 months, but was unable to buy enough food for her family. In March, LaShawn Chaplin made the decision almost any mother in her position would make. She reluctantly gave up her job and went back on welfare full-time. It was the only way she could feed her family.
I do want to do something for myself. I want my children to have more. I don't know anybody who doesn't want that. And I'm not receiving any help at all. They're not encouraging anybody to do better. It's just like they have you under their thumb and that's where they want you for the rest of your life. And that's not what I want for me or my children.
LaShawn Chaplin may not have many choices. At this point, she cannot even afford a babysitter. Today, she's taking her children across town to her mother's house in Roxbury so that she'll be free to run her weekly errands. The commonly held stereotype that welfare recipients pick up their checks in Cadillacs and buy steaks with food stamps can't be found in the story of LaShawn Chaplin. The government, it appears, has conspired to make it financially disadvantageous for her to work. She has been forced back to welfare, but welfare benefits are barely enough to feed and clothe her family. This is no picnic at the public expense. For LaShawn, it is a long and bitter struggle.
It's not easy at all. It means doing without a lot. It definitely means crying, but it means not letting your children see that side of you. To always make it seem like it's not as hard as it looks. That it definitely is a future for them and myself.
LaShawn hopes their future will be better than her family's past. She desperately wants to escape the welfare cycle. It will not be easy. Her grandmother and her mother are also single parents. Both have also had to rely on welfare to see them through their own hard times. LaShawn's mother, Anita, works most of the year as a special needs teacher at Dorchester High School. She knows how hard it is to escape welfare, how easy it is for a family to become discouraged.
Bye, honey. Bye, Sharif. Bye, Kareem.
Every time a parent goes out to do something, if the child sees him coming back home disappointed and we're not going to eat tonight, or let's drag, everybody's got to go over Mama's house this week because we don't have enough food. You know, they grew up with the idea that maybe working and all that is not such a great idea.
Right now, LaShawn Chaplin doesn't have enough money to live on. Although she left her job more than 3 months ago, her welfare benefits have not gone back up. She and her 3 children are subsisting on a reduced grant of $142 a month. That's $142 a month to support 4 people. Something is wrong. She's come to the welfare office today to find out why her benefits are still so low.
Going into welfare office has always been confusing for me because I'm not really knowing the laws. I don't exactly know what I have access to. Unless you know the question to ask, you won't get any answers because they don't volunteer any information at all.
Your name is L.A. You here for who? Elizabeth Fisher.
LaShawn has no money to pay the $285 rent due this month. If she cannot get her welfare benefit returned to a normal grant today, she and her children may face eviction. Although she needs help, she is bitter at a system that has forced her to give up her job.
AFDC used to help those who wanted to help themselves. Now it's just the opposite. It's to keep you dependent. There's no logic at all in what the system stands for now, because it costs them more to keep me dependent than it will for them to help me become independent.
And you've never called me in regards it, so all I can do is resubmit it.
Okay, say in other words, what exactly are you telling me?
I'm telling you that I will resubmit it to the computer. That's all I can do.
Okay. Has it already been submitted to the computer?
Submitted. That's what this is. It wasn't picked up.
It wasn't picked up.
Right. And the error should have come back on it, and it didn't. And if an error doesn't come back, I have no way of knowing.
What LaShawn is finding out is that when she gave up her job and became eligible for full welfare aid again, someone at the welfare office failed to tell the computer. Now she and her 3 children must suffer the human consequences of a bureaucratic error. They will have to subsist on $142 a month and some food stamps until the problem is resolved. Even if she were receiving a full welfare grant, LaShawn and her children would still be living in poverty.
With anyone who's out there trying to do something to better their position in life, I get very angry when they have to be subjected to some of the problems that my daughter has been subjected to in the last few months. The system was supposed to be geared to assist you on getting yourself, helping you get yourself together to the point where you could support and provide for your own family, not on holding you back.
During the summer months while school is out, LaShawn's mother is taking care of the children so her daughter can try and dig her way out of the welfare cycle. LaShawn has been accepted to a college preparatory program at the University of Massachusetts. She hopes to become a full-time student in the fall. In what seems like the distant future, she'd like to have a good-paying career in the computer sciences.
I'd like to continue my education. That's my main goal. You know, with the hopes of getting a better job. I mean, not even a hope. That's something I'm definitely going to fight for.
And fight for it she must. The odds are against her. Even if she were to pass her exams and qualify for full-time enrollment, she would have to rely on basic education tuition grants that have been drastically reduced under the Reagan administration. But even if she were lucky enough to obtain a tuition grant, she would probably still lose the battle. Once she became a full-time student, LaShawn Chaplin would be cut completely off the welfare roll. She would have no money to support her family.
All the assistance that I thought I could help depend on, or I thought would help me, is no longer there. And it's only changed within a matter of months. My answer was totally different from what was in the back of the book.
The other way you can check it is by looking at a multiplication table. All right.
My education is something I really want to fight for, with the hopes of putting in back to the system what I've taken out already.
Under the state's new workfare program, LaShawn must remain a full-time mother to be eligible for aid. According to the new regulations, her only other option is to participate in mandatory job search, a process in which a welfare mother must accept the first job offered her regardless of the hours or the pay. But LaShawn knows from experience that she cannot make it on a low-paying job. She wants more for herself and her family. She sees her education as the only way out.
I feel that I can complete my education and take care of my children at the same time. But see, society says that it's totally impossible for me to do that. You should be only taking care of your children. The option that I've given is to be left behind, but I don't want to. And I'm going to make sure that I don't get left behind, because that's not what I want for me or my children.
LaShawn Chaplin is determined to make it out of welfare and out of poverty. She'll be swimming against a tide of circumstance that works to keep her back. The fact that she is black, the fact that she is a single mother, the fact that the programs that have traditionally helped people like her are being drastically cut back. But LaShawn's resolve is unmistakable as she plots how she'll try for a nighttime job to help pay for her education and the care of her family. For now, LaShawn Chaplin needs help. And to abandon her is to abandon her children, those who could grow up to be the next faces of poverty in America.
Right now, I believe the system is designed to keep poor people poor. That's exactly what I believe. But I intend to make it, no matter what the cost. Hey, stop that! Kareem, stop that.
We're doing triple key.
And what of the real world? What about the poor in America today? What has become of the people who have hit hard times? After her second husband left, Diane Mosariegos took a desperate chance no mother would want to take. She packed up her 3 sons and sent them to their father, saying she could no longer support them alone. Within 1 week, her gamble paid off. He returned the boys and is now helping her support them by contributing $300 a month. But the store where Diane works is going out of business this month. She's anxiously looking for more work. As winter approaches, Diane Mosariegos and her children are still struggling in poverty. Ray and Susan Gauthier are still without work. Their garden has been productive, but their savings have now run out. Since the unemployment rate in their area is so high, Ray has been given a 13-week extension of his unemployment insurance benefits. The family lives on $135 a week. But even that will run out by the end of September. The Gauthiers are still hoping to find work by then. LaShawn Chaplin has finally been reinstated at the welfare office. She now receives $444 a month to support her 3 children. She successfully completed her college preparatory course and has been accepted for full-time enrollment at the University of Massachusetts in the fall. But if she does go to school, her welfare checks will be cut off. She could make it without welfare if she could find a night job after school, but so far she's had no luck. Classes begin in 2 weeks. If she doesn't find work by then, she'll have to give up her plans for school and stay on welfare indefinitely.
For the people we've met tonight, these are not just hard times, they are cruel times. Times when the best of efforts don't lead to a job, to a school, to a way out of welfare. They're now being asked to sacrifice even more because the economy is in trouble. The President and the Congress have slashed $40 billion out of social programs this year, and it's likely they'll cut the same amount again next year. These programs are a life support system for the poor, and many of the truly needy are now truly hurting. The people we have met tonight still do have hope. They will survive. Others may not. For Channel 5, I'm Jack Hines. Good night.
I was married for 13 years.
Somebody's got bound to quit a job or something.
When the savings gone, then what? We don't know what.
I am a single mother on welfare.
He doesn't want to be bothered with too much money to give to these kids.
I get to the point where I feel like I've failed.
I can understand why a lot of people go to just living on the streets.
It was a decision that I had to make whether to keep a roof over my head or to starve to death.
But when you hurt my kids, that crushes me. I can't take it.
I think Mr. Reagan's help, hurt us a lot. He may think it's easy, but if he was in my shoes, he wouldn't think so.
Why do we always have to struggle all the time?
The option that I've given is to be left behind, but I don't want to.
If it's a hard winter, we're going to have a hard time staying together.
We haven't got much, but what we got, we're really proud of.
At times we want to just give it up, but yet we don't.
The system is designed to keep poor people poor.